How can working out really make us a better Muslim?
Shaytaan does not want you to be successful in any endeavor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his goal. And definitely bad health, by our own hands, i.e. what we eat, and lack of movement is somewhat, dare we say, satanic. Yes, just move. Just move. Just move, right? And then once you do it, in the beginning, Shaytaan is going to come at you. He's going to come at you so hard. Why are you doing this? Know that your body is an Amanah. It is a trust that Allah, and is an Amanah. Whoa, look at that.
That's why it's Amanah Fitness.
Should I say it again so you can get a nice cut?
SubhanAllah.
Your body's an Amanah.
Assalamu alaikum. Getting motivated to be healthy and fit can be so tough, especially in Ramadan. So today we have a very special guest to help us get motivated and make that a part of our life. You know him from Yaqeen Institute's popular Quran 30 for 30 daily Ramadan tafsir series. Shaykh Abdullah Oduro is the Imam at the Islamic Center of Coppell, Dallas, but he's also an avid fitness enthusiast, which you might not have known. But if you check out his Instagram page, you can see many of his hardcore workouts, and he's the trainer and founder of Masterman and the Beast program, inspiring young Muslims to be fit and healthy. So I wanted to talk to Shaykh Abdullah about some of the struggles that many Muslim families experience and why it's so difficult to get motivated to exercise. I think it's a really insightful and important perspective that he brings as both a sheikh and a trainer. So let's bring him on, Shaykh Abdullah Oduro. There we go. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you so much for taking time out in your busy Ramadan schedule to join us. We're all enjoying Quran 30 for 30. I think my husband Zohair is going to be joining you next week to record with you. And I think you spent some time with my brother just a few days ago recording on Surah Nahl. So Nazir is my brother as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, small world.
Yeah, subhanAllah. So thank you for all the incredible work you do. And specifically, we're going to be talking all about fitness today. I always like to start off with some quick questions. They're not exactly rapid, but they're fast enough. So is that okay?
That's great. No problem.
Sounds good. Okay, so your favorite workout?
Oh, favorite workout. Oh, that's a great question. I'll just say, man, it's hard. I'll go with rows, bent over rows.
Okay. Your most hated or dreaded workout?
Lunges.
Oh, yes. Actually, I don't like lunges at all myself. Push-ups or bench press?
Push-ups all day.
Planks or sit-ups?
Planks.
Definitely, for that nice functional approach. So on your Instagram page, everyone sees that you enjoy both jump ropes and battle ropes. Which do you prefer?
Wow, I'll just go with jump ropes. Jump ropes.
Okay. Great cardio approach. Kickboxing or grappling?
Grappling. As of now, these days, grappling.
Oh, interesting. Would you rather do 200 burpees or 100 pull-ups?
Man, it depends on what I want to do, but I'll just go with 100 pull-ups.
Okay, wow, mashallah. What do you listen to when you work out?
I listen to a lot of inspirational, like Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson, Malcolm X, Kobe Bryant. I listen to a lot of them. Yeah, Westbrook, a lot of these guys.
That's definitely hyping you up in your workouts. Any nasheeds that you listen to?
No, not really. I just listen. I like to hear people telling me that I'm nothing.
That's intense. Okay, some quick food questions. Your favorite high protein food?
My favorite high protein food, I would probably say salmon.
Oh,
or
that's a
some
good one.
baked chicken. Yeah.
And your biggest food fitna?
Italian food, like spaghetti, pizza.
Oh, okay, yeah, the high carb stuff. Okay, so wrapping up with some Dean questions. Living in Medina or living in Mecca?
Oh, man. Medina. Yeah.
Your favorite sunnah dua? I always like asking this question. SubhanAllah.
The one that flips the hearts, keep my hearts firm on your religion.
SubhanAllah, beautiful. And the last book you read?
The last book I read, The Boy Crisis.
Oh, okay, cool. So Thank you for sharing with that. I think everyone always kind of likes to get a bit of an insight into your world and the things that you're doing in your workouts and stuff. So that's really cool. So everyone is obviously tuning into the daily tafsir, enjoying that so much, benefiting, mashallah. And I think that people are surprised then when they go onto Instagram and see your page and see that you're doing these intense fitness routines. And I think that that's because we often don't see those examples of practicing Muslims really prioritizing their health and fitness to that level. So I'd love to know what got you into fitness. What's your fitness motivation?
Well, it's a number of things. Well, firstly, I came back from Saudi Arabia. My wife's from Medina. She's born and raised in Medina. And, she likes to make something called Basbousa. I don't know if you ever heard of Basbousa, right? She likes to make Basbousa. And I didn't realize that over the years, I was kind of gaining, weight. And I taught English over there as well after I graduated. And when I came back, a real good friend of mine, Adnan Jalali, he said, man, you need to get in the gym. And I always loved physical fitness since I was a young kid. I played on the basketball team, football team. I love high intensity training. So once I got in the gym with him, that was a wrap. That was it. I just got addicted. I just love the pump. I love movement. I love challenging myself mentally. That was the first thing. And he got me kind of hip to fitness in the gym, like lifting weights and stuff like that. I had an interview yesterday with Rehan Jalali.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So Adnan is his younger brother. He does a lot of leadership training around the world. And he's written a book called Chasing 100. Oh. So he was a real good partner for me. And he really got me into it. Then a couple of years later, my younger sister got caught with cancer. She had stage 4 cancer. And she's 9 years younger than me. And I remember when she would call me every now and then, because she used to do consulting for a software company, and she had her own beauty salon. So she would call me every now and then. She said, I'm feeling this kind of pain. I'm feeling that kind of pain. And I said, what are you eating? She used to eat out a lot. She used to eat a lot of processed food, Wingstop and the likes thereof. And, I used to work as a surgical tech in the OR before I went to Medina. And so I knew a couple doctors. So when I got in there, I had them look at the scans. And I never forget when the doctor told me, I saw the liver, and he just made a sound. And I know this. I used to work with him. Every general surgeon, the kind of surgeons that people wouldn't want to work with, but I worked with them a lot. So he made a certain sound. I was like, just tell me. He said, yeah, you see that liver? You see all those darker spots? I was like, yeah, man, she's probably got cancer, man. She needs to come in ASAP. So then I had to tell my mom, and her going through the process. It was probably about 2 years. A number of things happened. I mean, we'd visit her in the operating room, or she'd go back and forth, obviously, to the hospital. Kids got to see it. First time she's asked us to pray for her and stuff like that. And just really, she was a firm believer that it was her diet. I mean, it was a lot of convincing for me. It's like, look, what are you eating? What have you been eating? That it was her diet that was a major contributor. And Allah knows best, but it was sigmoidal colon cancer. And that's a lot of places where a lot of the enzymes that may not be digested, the processed food can really affect that portion of the colon. I used to work in general surgery, so that portion of the colon was taken out a lot because of different. Once a general surgeon told me, because a lot of the animal fats, they're not digestible, can cause diverticulitis and eventually move into colon cancer. So having that with my family and then my father, as well. So really just diet. That was really, I took that into high importance, and then just loving the gym. Yeah.
SubhanAllah, may Allah make it easy for your family. And so, so that experience through your family kind of showed you that importance of, really realizing that our food can be medicine, at a certain point, and then also finding that passion, through the gym. Right. So I actually wanted to ask you this because I hear this actually a lot. I have like an online fitness program for Muslim women, and I actually work with a lot of convert sisters, and I hear this come up a lot that I wanted to get your kind of unique perspective as a convert as well, mashallah. So a lot of sisters tell me that, before they embraced Islam, that, they were working out regularly, they were always, kind of staying fit and active. And then after embracing Islam, and starting to dress more loosely, starting to wear abayas, there's a lot of room in the abayas, you kind of don't see those same measures of the way that we often gauge our health and fitness, of how your clothes are fitting. And then, 10 years later, that's when they're saying, subhanAllah, like tearfully that, they're now struggling with obesity, mobility issues, pain, and health struggles like after this. And that just really breaks my heart. So I'd love to know kind of any advice for that situation.
Yeah, I mean, with the sisters, it would probably be a little limited with on my end, but really, it's just about, a lot of times. I remember one of my mentors when I was going into the gym. He said, "Look, at my age and your age, the number one goal when going in the gym is injury prevention." And that opened my eyes because I like to go to a failure in a lot of things, when lifting and stuff like that. But why do you work out? Like, why are you going in and doing squats? Why are you doing this aerobic? Why are you doing, circuit training? Why are you doing it? And to really realize that working out is not supplemental. And I think it really needs to it really needs to permeate the ummah, that working out is not supplemental. It's not. It's an essential element of your life and of your deen.
Yeah.
So I think really, even when we have the right intention, that working out is from the deen, and it can increase your iman, and it can be ibadah. Just as sleeping can be ibadah, the working out is ibadah if you have the right intention to where, I want to be able to protect my family. I want to be able to be happy, within myself. So I think it's important to really look at why we're working out. And ultimately, I would say, generically speaking, know that your body is an Amanah. It is a trust that Allah, and is an Amanah. Whoa, look at that.
That's why it's Amanah Fitness.
Should I say it again so you can get a nice cut? Your body's an Amanah. No, but
yes, it is.
There you go. Your body's an Amanah, and Amanah means trust, meaning that Allah gave it to you temporarily. It's not something that you're going to have, It's interesting that the fuqaha, the scholars of Islamic law, some of them, I always mention this point, that some of them say it's impermissible to sell a body part of yours, like to sell your kidney or something like that. And the reason why is they say because you don't own it. You don't own it. It's something that you've been given temporarily, and Allah wants to see what you're going to do with it. Are you going to bombard it with, liquor? Are you going to bombard it with, dare I even say, a level of processed foods that it's not possible, but will destroy it, right? So I would ultimately say, look at why you're doing it, and know that working out is worship, and you can receive reward for it, and the fruits for it are plenty, inshallah.
I think that's such a critical mindset shift, and especially that struggle. Like, we are in a society where working out and fitness is marketed as being something for objectification. So you look a certain way. So then, of course, when embracing a paradigm where we're not exposing our bodies outside, so then of course that level of motivation is not going to translate anymore to be able to push me to work out, right? Like, that same bikini body approach to fitness does not have any motivational push anymore. So how do you think that we make that jump, that switch in that mindset to be able to see working out as something different, which as Muslims we have to do, or else we just won't have that motivation?
It's kind of looking at, okay, sometimes you would look at those individuals that are older than you and see what they went through from not having strong structural integrity. If I was to fall, would I break a bone? If I was to fall, what would ultimately happen to me? And looking at people, and this is interesting to look at your family lineage, and see what ailments they went through. Like, for instance, diabetes runs in my family. My father had it. My mother has a mild case of diabetes. So, and knowing that if you increase that insulin and things that you eat, depending on what you eat, can really make it spike up, which can eventually be, ultimately fat. And you look in the mirror and you're not pleased. Looking at, okay, me as a Muslim, I as a Muslim, am I a sex symbol as what the workout industry wants me to be, and realizing that how you look is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of how you feel and how healthy you'll be, your cardiovascular health, your structural integrity, which is very, very important. So I think it's that mind. It's going to be gradual, especially with the sisters. It's going to be gradual, but it's really looking at how do I want to feel from this, as opposed to something that's cosmetic. It's something much more internal than that. And again, realizing, especially as a convert, a lot of times we want to just please God. Realize that this is a way of pleasing God if your intention is correct. Allah knows best.
So you mentioned about the fact that it comes back down to intentions. You mentioned getting rewarded for working out. So how can working out really make us a better Muslim? Because that's a big mindset shift in and of itself.
No doubt. I mean, it's beautiful that you can't get the six-pack in a week. It's beautiful that you can't get legs or a structure that you want, a physique that you want, male or female, in a matter of a week or 2 weeks. Discipline. One of the most important things of working out is discipline. I mean, you look in the mirror, you're on the scale. I personally just look in the mirror. If I like what I see in the mirror, and if I feel great, and an easy way that I can tell if I feel great is how I wake up. How I wake up, what I eat, and my sleep schedule, how the quality of my sleep, right? That's some easy ways that I can really determine my feeling and see if this working out is something, this way of working out is going to ultimately help me.
SubhanAllah, it's really interesting that you said that, because that's actually one of the things that people hate most about fitness, that it takes so long to see any change. So you're saying that's actually like a big plus, that process of learning through this journey.
Oh, I got, like I was telling my family what this morning, because my son's a ball player. All of them are ball players, right? So, he loves barbecue sauce like I used to love, And it's when I watched this movie, documentary Fed Up. I don't know if you watched this documentary called Fed Up years ago. I was like, whoa, sugar is in barbecue sauce. Sugar's in this. Sugar's in Italian food. And I was like, that's why I love it so much. It's the sugar.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I have a choice to make.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And I realized, how the processed food, it can make your tasting bland, where you don't appreciate whole nutrient dense foods.
True.
You'll say it tastes like dirt, but that's what you want. You want to eat the soil, the rich soil, not the hollow soil, right? So, and then when you look at people from overseas in different places, and their bodies, they're stacked, and their physique is just mashallah. It's what they're eating. It's the natural foods that they're eating that we, because of ultimately money, we're eating hollow foods that doesn't have any nutrients. But I would say, subhanallah, with the youth, with the body and training, it's you appreciate something that comes over a long period of time, because when you taste something, it's only a couple of seconds or minutes. But the results from that oatmeal pie, the result from that pizza, the Italian food that you're eating a lot, it's going to take a much longer time to burn that off. Or it can have an on-lasting effect internally in your colon that carries 75% of the bacteria in your colon, and you're introducing bad bacteria into it. And then you wonder why you're lethargic. You wonder why, you're bloated. You wonder why you have stomach aches. It's all your diet. And if you think about it, if you consume it, just as we're talking about being consistent with working out and having a good physique and feeling good, don't you think that what you consume every day is going to have a long-lasting effect on you? Exactly. Not only physically, we're not just talking muscle, we're talking psychologically, lethargic, and then when you look in the mirror, you're not happy, then it could lead to depression, it could lead to sadness. Who's going to marry me? Who's going to this? Who's going to, right? So it could lead up to these things, and it's really looking at the end of the tunnel and hopefully, by the permission of Allah, enjoying the process. I mean, I see when I look on your Instagram page, you're enjoying the process, and that's a beautiful thing, some people say, I hate going to the gym. It's like, okay, what do you really want to see from the gym? That hard work. There has to be some hard work that you've done in your life that you look back and you say, man, I'm glad I did this. I wouldn't have gotten it if it wasn't for that hard work, right? Yeah. Well, what about your body, your health, your longevity? So,
SubhanAllah. And especially, I think what a lot of Muslim families will tell me, that it just feels there's so much overwhelm in daily life between taking care of your family, managing work, coming home. Also then as a Muslim, just in general, trying to keep with Quran in Ramadan, obviously there's such a big overload. So it can just feel that taking care of your body, working out is just another thing on the to-do list, another bit of overwhelm. Any advice for that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, on the to-do list, whatever is on your list, is it beneficial for you in the long run? Whatever you put on your list, look at the future. What do you want to see from that 10 years from now, 10 weeks from now, and rush towards that, right? But while you're doing it, there's days that I do not want to go in the gym. I do not want to go and work out. If I can't go in the gym, I don't want to go in my garage and just do, like you said, sometimes you complicate working out as well. You don't have to have barbells and dumbbells, any type of resistance, and just doing it over and over again going out and doing 100 burpees, like, or 10,
Yeah.
you know, and you break that sweat. You'll hate it, but after you take that shower, you're like, I know that was beneficial for me, right? You can guarantee that that was beneficial for you. You meaning your heart, ultimately, your cardiovascular health, right? And your muscles as well, your structural integrity, your joints. It definitely has helped it. So making sure that, you know, when you think in that way, that, well, this is going to help me. I want to be able to play with my grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, we know what that's like. I mean, we don't want to know what that's like. Well, we can't get up and at least play with our grandchildren.
We've all seen it, yeah.
And you go. We've all seen it.
Yeah. And I think that what you're saying is really that key step that we have to go through that process of going from, okay, yes, you might be unhappy with how you're feeling right now. Also widen up that motivation. Look at members in your family and have seen how a lack of physical activity can lead to some really negative and scary health outcomes. And then looking at what you're eating and how that has an impact and how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis and think, okay, how do I want to make this for the next 10, 15, 20 years? What do I want that life to look like for me? So subhanAllah, that I think that's that process of motivational development that we all have to go through. And when you go through that, it becomes so much easier to prioritize your workouts because it's not just something on the to-do list. It means a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, work out your life. I mean, because that is part of your life. You know, there's nothing like reaching that point, you know, to where you want to work out because you know if you felt that clarity and sharpness in the morning. You know, you wake up. When I wake up, you know, they know what's going to go down in my house. Like, they know that I'm waking up. I'm ready to conquer the world. I'm ready to go and just start my day full 220 volts, right? Because I had a good sleep. Well, why did I have a good sleep? Because I had a good diet. Why did I have a good diet? Because, you know, I know the importance of diet, right? And working out to facilitate that as well. So, again, I think it's just.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So compare how you feel now, like this 200-volt energy, versus before you started working out. What is that comparison?
And that's what I was getting to. It's like, I just ask and I really implore, really seriously, you know, all of the sisters and brothers that have that, you know, don't have the desire to get up and just move, right? Please, for the sake of God, for the sake of Allah, just try it. Yeah. Go through those uncomfortable moments. Rush towards the awkward moments. You know, you've met somebody that was awkward and you have to go through those awkward moments, whether it's getting a job, you know, your residency or whatever the case may be. It's an awkward moment, but you know you have to do that in order to get to where you want to get to. Yeah. Well, those awkward moments are first going in the gym, people looking at me, whatever the case may be. You try your best to zone out and think of your goals and what you want to attain. You want to feel better. You don't want to turn out like that other relative that, you know, had an unfortunate situation physically. You know, it's possible to prevent that. So.
Yeah, and so, you know, oftentimes, like, I'll work with a lot of women who they really want this so badly, and they'll have some good days, they'll start getting into a flow, and then something in life will happen, and they'll just be kind of off track, months go by, and then it's like constantly you like climb up 2 steps, fall back 6. Any advice for that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, look, you know, I'm very realistic when it comes to the diet and things of that nature. It's like, okay, you were on it. You were 3 days a week. You were with your trainer, and then you went out one night. You fell off. It was Christmas break. You know, you went with you went with your family, and they were like, oh, you have to eat this. Okay, we're not going to give you the haram food, you know, but you know, you have to have our Christmas cookies. Me not eat mom's Christmas cookies? Isn't that like a sin? Like, we're supposed to obey our parents, right? Right? So it's like,
these must be some good cookies.
Huh?
These must be some really good cookies.
No, yeah. You mean everyone has their mama's favorites, right? So it's like, okay, I got to eat that. I feel terrible, right? Okay. Then you just got to look at what you want again. Like, really, what do you want? What do you desire? And I think it just goes back to looking at what you don't want from, you know, your body, how you feel. Again, sometimes you have to picture certain people that you know and what they went through and realize that it's because of lack, you know, a poor diet and not moving, just moving. So like you mentioned, you asked earlier, one thing I used to do a lot is when I would leave work from the hospital, I would like eat a lot of cookies. I love cookies, like especially oatmeal raisin. I still do, right? So I still, right? But I would eat them in the middle of the day. And I don't know why I would feel so lethargic. I'd feel so tired. And I realized it was that it's consumption of those carbs at the time. When I lessened that, right, I lessened eating carbs to a high degree, like the cookies, the crackers, and unhealthy carbs. I realized I felt great after. I was ready to go and do some more, right? Yeah. Then I kind of slowly went into boxing. I did this P90X. P90X. I'm telling you, there were days where I was like, man, I do not want to do this. And I'd say, okay, what do you want to see? What do you want? Like, what do you really want? Do you want to feel better? Because I felt that little feeling when I left the crackers, man, I feel better. Yeah. So what I eat does play a role in my life and how I feel on a daily basis. Yeah. Okay, I worked out. I hated it in the beginning, but when I was done and I see the sweat, I was like, this has got to help something. Like, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has got to help something. And then weeks later, some days I'd fall off. I would fall off. I'd go and visit somebody and they'd have the pizza. Okay, I'd eat the pizza, right? But then that morning, you have to study your body. Yes. Just study it. And one easy way to study it is when you wake up in the morning, how do you feel? Yeah. And try stuff out. Like, okay, eat that pizza and see, okay, how am I going to feel tomorrow morning? And if you feel terrible, know that it was because of that processed food. Yeah. And when you feel great, know that it was because of that wholesome natural food. Yeah. And when you feel stronger, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's amazing because so often people are basically just looking at the scale to be their motivator. Yeah. And if the scale hasn't moved yet, you feel awful and then you quit. And I love shifting people to think about how you're actually feeling because that's going to tell you what's actually happening in your body.
Exactly. Especially if you're doing some type of, if you're adding any resistance and the number doesn't change, but you look different, that's great because muscle weighs more than fat, right? So,
So like just that I think that's also key in terms of having that motivation, like looking at how you're feeling and like you said, studying your body. I think that this is a concept that so many Muslims like have never heard of this, but your body is going to tell you if it's being abused day to day, if your food is right for it. And, that level of lethargy and tiredness and exhaustion, that is a direct consequence of how we're moving and eating. And so I love how you're saying, try something different and see, does it have that impact? And then if it does, move towards that.
Right.
And
exactly.
that makes a huge difference. So specifically in Ramadan, we're all trying to be healthy in Ramadan. I think it's really interesting because, a lot of times people think that times in life where people start thinking about fitness, like, okay, before you get married. But I find a lot of times in Ramadan, like people just really start taking their health more seriously. So what are some of the things that you're doing in Ramadan to stay healthy, stay energetic?
One thing that I'm really trying to do a little better is my iftar. And I got to give it to certain masajid. Your generic masjid, they usually have the watermelon and the bananas. I don't know if they have it. You're in Australia, right?
I'm in Canada right now.
Canada.
In Australia.
The watermelon and the banana, that's great because you want that water, even the fiber. This is great to introduce to your stomach that's kind of depleted somewhat of nutrients to introduce that in the beginning. And then wait for about 45, 30 minutes if possible, and eat something wholesome. So for me, it's primarily the iftar and the meal that I eat after iftar. Primarily the meal that I eat after iftar to be a little more disciplined in it. Even if I'm at the masjid, like I have to go to iftar at this masjid, most likely it's going to be biryani, right? So just make sure I get the chicken and take 3/4 of the rice out and then replace it with some dates. Yeah. And the dates have fiber and it keeps me fuller. So that's with me. That was my
So having that portion control as well as iftar, like that makes such a difference. A lot of people think that you need to be eating diet food, but it's about being mindful and thoughtful of the types of foods that you are putting on your plate. So that's awesome. And specifically in terms of working out in Ramadan, how are you doing that? When are you doing that? What's your routine like?
I usually do it after I drop my kids off in the morning. I try to do light resistance training. I love resistance, so I just try to do some light training. So the battle ropes have been really, 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 really good for me. Yeah. Like today I did I'm doing like a takeover for Yaqeen Institute, so I showed some of the workouts I'm doing on there. Farmer's carry is highly underrated.
For those who don't know, describe what the farmer's carry is.
Oh yeah, farmer's carry is where if any of you travel and you have 2 heavy suitcases and you're carrying both of them, that's basically a farmer's carry. So you're carrying weights in both hands, but while you're doing it, you're making sure that your chest is out, shoulders back, that you're standing upright, and you're not letting the weight control you. So there's a lot of benefits from that, from your posterior chain, basically from your head all the way down to your toes, and your forearms as well. And it really can help you break. So I do that, and the battle ropes, and then I will do some jump rope here and there. Nothing heavy.
Yeah. So kind of a lighter load in Ramadan, but just kind of aiming on that consistency.
Exactly.
And one thing that you mentioned a lot is the aspect of the structural integrity of your body. And I can see you have a big focus on functional fitness. So what is that, and why is that important?
Well, the structural integrity, I mean, it's like, basically, like this BEAST program that we're talking about here is, it's one of the programs that I have with these young guys. I primarily try to get the teen age, when the puberty is just kicking in and the testosterone's going all over the place. I want them to learn basically compound workouts, because compound workouts is much, much better than like using the pulley workouts, the machines, because you're working so many muscles at one time. And the more muscles you work at one time, you're going to secrete more testosterone, therefore having a much, finer physique, more defined physique. And that's what these guys want in the beginning, right? They love the pump, they love to work out together, scream and all that. Well, let it be in a halal environment to encourage each other. That structural integrity is where your back straight, you're walking, your body's proportionate. You're not slumped over, and you're not too far back. When you walk, you're walking in a proportionate fashion. So that structural integrity is important. Also, it's important that if there is any injury, or if there is any falls or anything in that nature, you fall down, you trip on something, you fall on cement, that you have enough musculature that can reinforce and protect you and protect your joints primarily. Yeah.
Someone asked in the comments, okay, this sounds awesome. They're motivated. Any advice for like a total beginner?
A total beginner. I would say, okay, firstly, well, it's kind of general. Okay, so as far as working out, any kind of movement that requires your whole body. So if you know what a burpee is, try a burpee. If burpee is too intense for you, then just lay on the ground and literally push yourself up, come with your knees, and then just stand up, and then just do that over and over again. So do 10 of those, rest for 10 seconds, 9 or 5, rest for 5 seconds, 4. If you can do that, then instead of laying on the ground, push up, keep your knees on the ground, and then come up. Gradual. If you're sitting in a chair, sit in a chair and try to stand up from the chair without leaning over to get up, not using any momentum, right? Just try to stand up, just come straight up with it. Go down slowly. So gradual like that. When people say warming up, it's basically getting your nervous system accustomed to the muscles that you're working out. So just doing that motion over and over again. And when you see you can do a good amount and feel great, either add a little more resistance to it. It doesn't have to be a barbell. It could be 2 gallons of water. Hold it and just get up from the chair. Come back down. Get up from the chair. Come back down, right? If you get the gallons of water, put them here. Get them from the chair and then lift up slowly. Gradual. These
are the 2 principles of fitness that I just love emphasizing. This concept of first functional, right? So these are exercises that are going to make you stronger for everyday life. So you mentioned like things like getting up, sitting up from your chair. Like you have to practice those movements if you want to be doing them when you're 80 years old. And then that principle of modification. So we start off where you're at, and then gradually make it a little bit tougher. Our body's kind of like, once we use it, we develop that ability to do more and more. So building up with those modifications, which is exactly those 2 principles that, it's really great to see you emphasizing, mashallah.
No, definitely. Yeah. And again, it's important. I'm glad that you asked that question, or whoever that was asking that question, because that shows you have an intention. Now it's just a matter of just getting out and just doing it. Don't think about, well, just get out and do it. Just move. Just move, right? And then once you do it, in the beginning, Shaytaan is going to come at you. He's going to come at you so hard. Why are you doing this? Like, why? Like, why do you want to sweat? Don't you have an appointment in an hour? Like, push through. I guarantee you'll feel great, the next day right after that.
Do you feel like that kind of like sometimes that laziness, that kind of urge to not work out and not eat healthy, do you think that there is a like satanic influence on that? Do you think Shaytaan's got something to do with it?
I would say yes and no to a degree. Why? Because we're human, right?
Yeah.
The body wants to rest. Your brain wants to rest. It does not want to go through struggle, right? So that could be the nafs if we get a little more descriptive, right?
Yeah.
So it could possibly be that. And Shaytaan does not want you to be successful in any endeavor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his goal. And definitely bad health, by our own hands, i.e. what we eat, and lack of movement is somewhat, dare we say, satanic. Yes. Because he wants you to be unhealthy. He wants you to be let's say the worst version of yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I think just like those mindset shifts are so helpful just to develop that motivation and to feel that, okay, I can do this. It's about starting to move and also not overthinking it. Like you said, just start moving. And as you get more comfortable is where you can get over that initial period of hating it into, as Shaykh Abdullah experienced, like loving it, getting addicted to it. I as well had that exact same, journey on my fitness journey where once you start doing it, you start to actually enjoy it. And then once you're there, you're good. But it's just about that initial difficult period of getting over that, subhanAllah. So, of course, alhamdulillah, we're benefiting from Quran 30 for 30. Where can people kind of learn more about you, get more inspired about your fitness journey? I work with so many Muslim women and they're like, who's going to train my husband? So, where can people keep learning about fitness and keep getting inspired with you in terms of our health too?
Well, alhamdulillah, I'm just starting out. I have like a YouTube channel and I have a website, abdullahoduro.com. So I plan to be having some endeavors on there. This mastermind plan that I have, it's a male life preparatory program. So I'm going to be putting some workouts on there for these young guys and for the older gentlemen as well. Just basic workouts that anyone can do that can really help them transition into working out on purpose and with a purpose, right?
That's amazing.
Because it's very important. So.
That's amazing. Very much needed, mashallah. So we will look forward to seeing those, sharing those, and having everyone jump in on those because, again, like it's just so inspirational, mashallah, seeing, that you're obviously sharing about the deen, prioritizing that, but then also bringing in this key component that this is our body, this is our amanah. Obviously we have to take care of this as well. So Jazakallah khair, thank you so much for spending this time with us, for motivating us. Everyone in the comments was saying they were so motivated and inspired from you. So Jazakallah khair. May Allah SWT grant you a fulfilling Ramadan in all areas of your life. Ameen. And Jazakallah khair, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you for having me. May Allah bless all of you for tuning in, and mashallah. I love your work. I love the page. I saw here you were teaching him a lunge, and he was acting all funny and crazy. This guy's crazy.
I have him demonstrate like our public workouts because those are not in a ladies only space. So I have Zohair do the public workouts, and then I kind of like coach him through it. But I love that aspect of just bringing the whole family together and just doing it with that no barrier aspect. So yeah.
Excellent. That's great. Mashallah. May Allah reward you and make this flourish.
Jazakallah khair. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us live. Inshallah. Of course, continue tuning into Yaqeen Institute, Quran 30 for 30, so you can stay with Shaykh Abdullah for the rest of Ramadan. And until our next live together, take care, stay blessed, and stay fit. Salam. Assalamu alaikum. So that was Shaykh Abdullah Oduro sharing with us some key tips on adjusting our mindset when it comes to staying healthy and fit. As Muslims, we have to realize that our body is an amanah, it's a trust, and if we want to do anything of productivity and value in this life, we have to make sure that our body is functioning at its best for high performance. We talked about how we can look at not just what we weigh on the scale, but specifically how we're feeling day to day. And if we're not feeling good, paying attention to that, study your body and realize that small improvements in the way that you eat and the way that you move can have such a dramatic impact on how you feel every day. That's the big indicator of success. If you're feeling better, you're making solid progress. We also talked about how we need to adjust the mindset. It's not just about, again, how you look in the mirror. It's also about looking at the people in your family who had suffered from that sedentary lifestyle, from negative health consequences. How do we want to live? How do we want to see ourselves in 10, 15, 20 years? And recognize that we got to put in the work now to make that a reality, inshallah. So thinking about what you what you want the future to look like and also what you don't want the future to look like, and using that to power your motivation to be healthy and fit, inshallah. So great discussion, lots of practical take-home points to set that motivation switch, inshallah. Now, just before we wrap up, a reminder to definitely check out Yaqeen Institute's Quran 30 for 30 so you can keep up with Shaykh Abdullah for the rest of Ramadan. Also, at Amanah Fitness, we're doing so much to help you stay healthy and fit in Ramadan to reduce the overwhelm. Reminder that we have free Ramadan home workout videos every single day. So you can join me and my husband Zohair doing the workouts. There's no equipment, absolutely no barrier to start. There's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever little time you have for, we're going to show you how to get an amazing workout in that little amount of time. So join us for our free Ramadan workout videos. All of them are waiting for you and available on YouTube. We would love to share those with you and hear how you enjoy them and benefit from them with your family this Ramadan. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for tuning in with us, and until our next live, stay blessed and stay fit. Salam.